when I get it?
You can get your mic right now.
Okay, I got it.
Got it?
It's a double celebration of freedom. The American spirit meets the open road in 2026. We honor 250 years of our nation and 100 years of Route 66. Your voice for freedom is right here. Oklahoma's Talk Radio, the new Freedom 96.9. Freedom
Weather.
Here's your Oklahoma City AccuWeather forecast. Today will be mostly sunny and very cold with a high of 25. Tonight, expect partly cloudy skies and cold temperatures with a low of 18. Tomorrow morning will be breezy, but the day will gradually warm up with plenty of sunshine and a high of 47. On Monday, it will be mostly cloudy and not as cool, becoming breezy in the afternoon with a high of 57. Tuesday morning may see a shower in spots with the rest of the day staying mostly cloudy and a high of 53. With your Oklahoma City AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast are solely those of the speakers and other contributors. These views and opinions do not necessarily represent those of this station. The new Freedom 96.9, Oklahoma's Talk Radio.
Broadcasting live from the command center of Freedom 96.9 in Oklahoma City, it's McRoof Fortifies, Oklahoma. Saving lives, protecting property, fortifying Oklahoma one roof at a time. I'm Rick Allen Lippert here with Hague Certified Master Level Damage Inspector, Oklahoma Licensed Public Adjuster, Fortified Evaluator, and IBHS Fortified Roofing Contractor, Scott McCullum.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hague Certified Wind and Commercial Roofing Inspector Scotty McCullum also here.
Hello, Rick.
Retro Radio Randy is running the show again today. I'm sorry, Randy, you're back on probation. So we'll only hear him when he screams in the background. Or you can hear him when you call 405-608-4377. We are live streaming today on the YouTube channel, and we're streaming the audio on freedom969.com. That YouTube channel is simply McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma on the YouTube. We'll start as usual with our trivia question and other interesting tidbits, including the word of the week. The phone number to answer the trivia question or to just ask a question, 405-608-4377. Later, we'll hear Scotty's view from the rooftop, although he hasn't been on one this week.
Well, how do you know that?
I have been on one, but
Okay.
it was just from the ladder. So technically,
The view from the ladder.
view from the view from the top of the ladder. Yes.
And then we'll have some After the Storm tips brought to you by Roof RX. And we'll wrap up with Dad's Wisdom. And coming back from breaks, some really obscure historical trivia. Now, guys, after getting home last week, after the Scott, you were the Uber driver for Retro Randy and I. On Sunday, after the snow had stopped and it was still dry, I was out shoveling the driveway because I'm from Ohio and we shovel snow. And this enterprising kid, I didn't
Shoveling the Zastruges.
The Strugies, yes.
That was
yes.
the word last week.
There were lots of Strugies out there.
the frozen waves. Anyway, I didn't think there were any enterprising neighborhood kids left anymore. But this one kid came by with a snow shovel, offering to help for a price.
Of course.
After I told him no thanks, he said, "Oh yeah. By the way, this man gave me $10 to tell you. Remember to say that S&CM LLC, doing business as McRoof.us, legally operates under Oklahoma registration number 8000002, and that the registration applies to both residential and commercial roofing."
Wow.
Wow.
Bet it took him a while to spit that out.
It did, because you'd have thought he'd at least written it down or typed it into his phone or something.
My gosh.
Anyway, it is a cold one out there
Yeah,
today.
it is.
They said it feels like -2.
-2. I'm so glad that Amazon delivered that 3-pack of flannel thongs to me because I'm wearing all 3 of them this morning.
Oh, well. Oh, well, TMI.
Yikes.
Yeah, TMI. Oh, my God. Yeah.
All right, so let's get started with the trivia questions,
All
shall we?
right, let's do it. So the official snow total for our storm was 8.2 inches at Will Rogers. How much moisture did this put into our soil?
Okay, now, folks, let me
Oh
just
my
warn you,
gosh.
you probably need to get out your pens and paper and
Calculators, too.
write this down because we got some numbers coming up. Go,
Okay,
Scott.
Okay, you warned him. All right. How much moisture did our snowfall put in our soil? A, 0.41 to 0.54 inches. B, 0.54 to 0.82 inches. C, 0.82 to 1.64 inches, or D, more than 1.64 inches of moisture into our soil.
All right.
You're blown away.
I'm curious about what you were doing when you wrote this question.
Well, I was cold, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, folks, if you think you know the answer, give us a call, 405-608-4377. We actually have someone on the line right now.
Wow.
The
I
winner-
doubt they're calling about the trivia question.
I don't know.
Well,
maybe so.
maybe.
Mary, look at Mary jumping
So
right in.
Mary
here,
will
so.
get to you in just a moment. I do want to just tell everybody that if Mary gets this right, she gets her choice of books, either Raving Fans or Unreasonable Hospitality, or 2 free tickets to any Carpenter Square Theater production this season.
Well, I got a question for you. Is that an exclusive offer for Mary? What if Mary doesn't get it right?
Well, then the next person
Oh,
to
okay,
call and
okay.
get it right.
I just wanted to clarify that.
And I will say that we're closing this weekend the current production Pictures from Home. There's a 2:00 Saturday matinee today, and because of last weekend, we had to cancel the whole weekend. So we added a 2:00 matinee. So if anyone wants to enjoy a charming, heartfelt, nostalgic family drama, comedy, there's some lightweight stuff in there too. Pictures from Home, based on a true story. This afternoon, 2:00, Carpenter Square Theater. You can enjoy live theater, which is so unique, and get home before dark.
And you guarantee them that the heater is on.
And the heater is on.
And there's a refreshment stand?
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. We got it. Okay, all right. So, Mary, let's Scott, you want to run through those numbers again?
I don't know. I'll run through them again, but Mary might not have called about that. So let's make sure that's why she called. That's why she called?
Oh,
Okay.
I definitely called about the snow, and
Okay.
I think it's C because it's measurably less than the actual snowfall is the moisture content.
Well,
So I
That
guess
sounds like
C.
a good try to me.
well, you're
What do you say, Dad?
You're right about that. You are right about that, but that is not the correct answer.
What was the guess?
Her choice was C.
Her
C.
choice was C.
Okay.
So she
Sorry,
chose.
Mary.
Yeah. So she chose 0.82 to 1.64 inches.
That's what I would have said.
That's what you would have said. Okay. Well, we'll talk about it a little bit after we get a correct answer or have to give a correct answer.
Mary, do you have just a general roofing question for these guys because they know things?
Well, you know what? I have a tile roof, and I am very glad that my tile roof is in place because if not, I would be crying on the phone.
Oh, and Mary, the one thing that I will tell you, you have now, is this a concrete tile or is this a clay tile? What kind of tile roof do you have?
It's a clay tile.
Okay. So you know that you have to be very, very careful about who you let get on your roof because
I know from bitter experience.
there you go. So tell it what happened, Mary.
Well, these kids were repairing the chimney and they got on the roof, and the rest is history because the chimney's fine, but the roof had that very extensive roof repair.
You put someone on a clay tile roof that does not know how to walk on that roof, where to place their foot, they will destroy that roof. And that goes for a lot of other kinds of roofs too.
Right.
Metal roofs,
Yeah.
Where you have the architectural metals that look like shake, slate, or tile. Someone doesn't know where to put their foot on that metal panel, they will absolutely crush it. So, yeah, Mary learned the hard way. I'm glad you know that. And I assume that you've got a trusted tile roofing contractor they're the only ones you let on your roof now, correct?
Correct.
Okay, that is perfect.
I thought I heard some reluctance in there, but
No. And let me say this,
Well,
Mary.
it's hard. It's hard because you guys are a rare breed.
Well, it's hard to find someone. Here's the problem, is everyone says, oh, yeah, we know how to do that. It doesn't matter what kind of roof you're talking about. You could be talking about a high-end luxury asphalt shingle roof. You could be talking about slate, tile, metal, everyone's, oh, yeah, we know how to do that. And then the consumer is left with the results of what that was. So anyway, Mary, you know how to find us if you ever need us. I will tell you this, if you ever need an inspection, that is a roof that our Roof RX drone inspection is absolutely what is recommended, because that way you don't have to put anyone on your roof that has the potential of causing that damage or someone getting hurt. We can do that inspection. We can dial down to where we can see every single tile on your roof and determine everything that's happened to it without anyone ever having to get on your roof, and give you those images and share with you what needs to be done going forward. So if you ever need your roof inspected, remember, you do not have to put someone on your roof to do that.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Have you had your king cake this season?
I have not had my king cake
Oh, my gosh.
yet. No, I have not.
You've got 2 weeks.
I know, and believe me, St. Wanda is, South Louisiana gal, so, it's, believe me, it will be happening.
Hey, Mary,
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you,
Mary, hang on a second. I'd like to offer a consolation prize since you were so gracious to share your clay tile roof horror story. If you want to go to Carpenter Square Theater today or tonight, just tell Randy when you and I are done here, and he'll write down your email address, and I'll send you a voucher for 2 tickets to the show. How about that?
That sounds wonderful.
All right, Mary. Thank you so
Mary.
much. Have a good weekend. That's good. So
All right.
Mary's answer was 0.82 to 1.64 inches, and that was not the correct answer.
All right, so we're going to go to break now. The trivia question, still unanswered. How much moisture did last weekend's snow actually put into the soil? 0.41 to 0.54 inches, 0.54 to 0.82 inches, or more than 1.64 inches. So just give us A, B, or C, A, B, or D.
Don't give us C again.
405-608-4377.
Every property owner knows the pain of rising insurance costs, higher premiums, higher deductibles, and more exclusions than ever before. You may have even received a non-renewal notice or a letter stating your roof no longer meets our underwriting requirements and your policy will be canceled in 30 days. You don't know the condition of your roof, you're not a roofer, but neither does the underwriter, and they're making decisions that affect your coverage. Roof RX brings clarity to where uncertainty once lived. We're not roofers looking for work. We're certified inspectors dedicated to truth and transparency. We combine state-of-the-art imaging with generations of roofing expertise to reveal the true condition of your roof and maximize its remaining life. We turn complex data into a clear prescription: what can be maintained, what needs repaired, and what needs replaced. We perform and document that work for you and your insurance carrier and provide the peace of mind of lifetime workmanship warranties and money-back guarantees. It's not about replacing roofs. It's about helping you understand the true condition of your roof, mitigate your risk, and protect your insurability. Roof RX, the prescription for your ailing roof.
McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma back on the air for this live Saturday morning show on Freedom 96.9. On this date in 1865, this date of January 31st, 1865, Congress passed by a vote of 121 to 124 the 13th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, abolishing slavery in the United States except as punishment for a crime. And then on this date in 1905, the first automobile to exceed 100 miles an hour did so on the sands of Daytona Beach, Florida, with a speed of 104. It was a Brit driving a Napier six-cylinder car named Samson. Okay, so our trivia question is still out there. How much moisture was put into the soil from our 8.2-inch snowfall last weekend? Was it A, 0.41 to 0.54 inches, B, 0.54 to 0.82 inches? We know it's not C. Or was it D, more than 1.64 inches? 405-608-4377.
I got to tell you, when I was thinking about the trivia question, I was actually puzzled by something.
Okay.
And I was trying to figure out a way to write the trivia question to where it made sense and people would be able. So here's one for you out there, audience. So we talked last week about the all-time 24-hour snowfall in Oklahoma in 1944. What was it? 8 point something. Anyway,
8.2.
I got it right
Anyway,
here.
okay.
It was it was 9 inches.
Okay, so 9 inches in 1944, 24-hour snowfall. All right, so I'm looking around yesterday, kind of digging around for some stuff, and I see how we've set the record for the one-day snowfall in Oklahoma City last week, 4.4 inches. And I'm going, wait a minute.
Wait.
Okay. So anyone wants tickets or a book or whatever, call and explain that to us, okay? Because I figured out what it is. There is an explanation.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
4.4 hours is the 4.4 is the one-day record in Oklahoma City. The 24-hour record in Oklahoma is 9 inches. Okay?
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay,
All
that
right.
makes sense.
So,
Figure that out, Randy? You figured it out yet? I did too.
all right. So this past week was a humdinger.
Oh man.
Well, yeah, lots of ice and snow still.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, still in the parking lots.
Are we going to do
but
the word of the week?
Oh, that's right. We need to do the word. We got so wrapped up in the trivia.
we weren't ever going to forget about the word of the week.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
let's
He just
get-
might have been doing it out of sequence.
Oh, okay.
Let's get to the word. And that
Sorry
one.
if he didn't meet your standard. That is
who's doing the
game
word?
changer.
Game changer.
Game changer. Maybe we need to put Randy back in the hot seat and Rick on probation.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Give Rick a break.
Yeah.
All right, game changer is our word of this week.
What do you mean by that, Scotty?
Well, a game changer, and I did not pick this word, but I suppose it means an event, idea, process, or procedure that affects a significant change in a current manner of doing or thinking about something. The agent, okay, this is an example. That didn't say example before it. The agent exclaimed with joy, "This is a real game changer," after learning about the insurance company, that the insurance company had rescinded cancellation notice for her client after receipt of a Roof RX prescription form.
Oh, wow.
So in this event, Roof RX is a game changer.
Is the game changer. Yeah.
And the reason Roof RX is a game changer in the property restoration and insurance markets is because of the absolute commitment to objectivity and, well, I would say absolute objectivity and chain of custody of the data that is captured about any particular property that RoofRx inspects.
So that chain of custody is really important.
Chain of custody, the storage of that information, and
Right.
of course, the commitment on the inspectors and annotators portion to render an absolutely objective outcome for all parties involved in that inspection, or who have an interest to that property and in the information contained within the inspection report.
If RoofRx doesn't maintain the security of that data and it gets out, it can be changed and manipulated and reinterpreted.
I would
theoretically,
yes,
but
theoretically.
we have built into our system mechanisms whereby our reports cannot be altered.
Okay.
Okay.
Good to know.
And so the truth is the truth as prepared by RoofRx. You can't have a contractor change the truth. You can't have a carrier change the truth. You can't have an owner change the truth. The truth is the truth.
Okay.
And because we do this in the manner in which we do it, it becomes defensible. And that's very, very important in the insurance space. It's very, very important for everyone to know that we're relying on this truth and that this is defensible data.
Yeah.
All right. And that's very, very important to everyone in this space. So.
Okay. Well, let's get back to your week in review.
What'd you do, Scotty?
I shoveled a little bit of snow, blew off some rooftops so I could see some things.
Yeah.
What else did I do? A
I
lot of
saw- I
estimates,
saw-
a lot of computer work
Yeah.
because it was quite cold.
Sure. Yeah. And
Quite cold, and the rooftops are still pretty snowy
yeah.
at this point,
Yeah.
especially on the north slopes that didn't get too much direct sun,
Right.
which doesn't make for a safe inspection.
So let me ask you this: as I drove through my neighborhood on really Sunday and Monday, a lot of snow on roofs.
Mm-hmm.
Every now and again, I'd see a roof that had very little snow on it.
Mm-hmm.
What did that mean? Was there a lot of heat escaping out of that roof?
Well, I mean, obviously, you've got a lot of different conditions topographically in Quail Creek.
Yeah.
You've got trees, and you've got undulations, and you've got different things that could affect, the temperatures actually on. You've got sunlight and all that. So different roof orientations as far as north, south, east, and west is going to affect
Different roof types.
different
Yeah.
roof types. But quite honestly, if you look at a roof and you see areas of a roof where there's significant snow on part of it, and I'm talking about if you looked at an elevation, north, south, east, or west, and there's significant snow on the majority of that, and there's one area where there is not snow, that is actually where heat is escaping from the inside of the house, rising and heating the bottom side of that roof deck and ultimately melting that snow on top of that roof.
You see that a lot around HVAC accessories,
Mhm.
like a water heater vent, a furnace vent, a dryer vent, even
Right.
kitchen range vent, things like that.
But you also see it in areas where there's an issue with insulation problems, there's an issue with walls not being sealed, things like that, and warm air is escaping out of the house itself, conditioned air, and sitting on the bottom of that roof deck and melting that. And it's only doing it in certain areas of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We only have about a minute left before we have to go to a hard break.
Well,
What do you want to
we'll talk
touch
about
on?
we'll talk about my week. So
Okay.
we did a lot of training this week, and we did a lot of brand building with the marketing officer, the strategy officer for RoofRx. Had a lot of conversations this week in the insurance space. Zooming again.
Yeah.
That was pretty crazy. And interestingly, I got a text message late last night from a very high up person in an insurance company who has a problem on his own roof, and he's sick and tired of it. And he was told by his risk management VP that he needed to talk to me.
Ah.
And so we are literally talking today about why his roof has had ice dams ever since it was installed 5 or 6 years ago.
Sounds like
And
it could be a ventilation issue.
And he's in the Northeast,
Yeah.
where they should have used all the appropriate products, Winter Guard and Diamond Deck and all. So we're gonna investigate.
All right, our trivia
Interesting.
question is still out there, 405-608-4377. Just give us a call and say A, B, or D. McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma. We'll be back after the news.
Hear it as it happens on Oklahoma City's only 100,000-watt talker. We're the new Freedom 96.9, freedom969.com, and on the Freedom app, Oklahoma's talk radio. Freedom
Weather. Here's your Oklahoma City AccuWeather forecast. Today will be mostly sunny and very cold with a high of 25. Tonight, expect partly cloudy skies and cold temperatures with a low of 18. Tomorrow morning will be breezy, but the day will gradually warm up with plenty of sunshine and a high of 47. On Monday, it will be mostly cloudy and not as cool, becoming breezy in the afternoon with a high of 57. Tuesday morning may see a shower in spots, with the rest of the day staying mostly cloudy and a high of 53. With your Oklahoma City AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast are solely those of the speakers and other contributors. These views and opinions do not necessarily represent those of this station. The new Freedom 96.9, Oklahoma's talk radio.
McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma back on the air for the second half of this morning's live call-in show on Freedom 96.9 on this date of January 31st, 1928. Scotch tape was first marketed by the 3M Company. And then 5 years later on this date, 1933, Adolf Hitler promised parliamentary democracy. Well, we know how well that turned out. All right, so gentlemen, we were reviewing your week, but you mentioned training. Did you do any planning this week?
Well, yeah, we did some planning. We've got. I was going to jump back to this. We did a Tulsa News called and was doing a piece on Fortified.
Okay.
And they were wanting to figure out specifically how aspects of Fortified might have helped people with ice and snow or winter and things like that.
Oh, good question.
So we did a little interview. I think they aired that on Wednesday or Thursday night. That was kind of fun. Met a nice young man, and so anyway, had an interview with a roofing tile manufacturer, and actually are going to develop that out further this coming week in terms of they're trying to look at it from the standpoint of documenting the installations that the contractors have done to where they have a permanent record of what that was in the event that things go awry on down the road.
Mm-hmm.
So here's another place where even from the standpoint of a manufacturer looking at ways to have some data set that is defensible, that shows what the conditions of a roof were post-installation by one of their credentialed contractors, and then being able to, measure that against what happened or what is there now, that kind of thing. So there's another place where there's a world of opportunity for Roof RX that people are seeing. These are things that we can use this for that we've never even thought about. So, who knows? We'll see what happens.
What's going on with the Oklahoma Roofing Contractors Association?
Well, lots. We had Avery and I had a meeting with a firm that will be our safety vendor that will be doing all of our safety training. And that was Thursday, I believe. And then we also had conversations with a representative from Construction Industries Board about some training and things that they need, that they would like for us to build and submit to them for approval for continuing education. There's very little out there in the way of continuing education, for licenses and things like that. So we need to work on that. And then, of course, we've got our code training class coming up in Tulsa this week. I believe that's on Wednesday at Tulsa Tech. So we're doing a lot as far as education goes with the Oklahoma Roofing Contractors Association. Talked about our planning for our expo in March. We're going to do a credential course there, I believe. So anyway, lots of good stuff.
Not a whole lot of roofing for a roofing company, wouldn't you say?
What's that?
I said not a whole lot of roofing for a roofing company, wouldn't you say?
Who's a roofing company?
Well, aren't you a roofing company?
No, I'm not in the roofing business. I'm in the saving lives, protecting property, and mitigating risk business. What business are you in?
I would say the same.
Thank you, son. Thank you, son.
Good answer, Scotty. Good answer. Hey, let's go to Benny, our friend Benny. You want to take a shot at the trivia question?
Oh, he'll never get this right.
Andy has another question.
I will, but I have a question first.
Okay.
All right. In regard to this moisture total, is that for the metro area only or the statewide?
Ooh, good question.
Well, let me think about this. That would be for the metro.
What's the official total at the airport?
That would be for the metro.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be for the metro.
Well, it's one of two. I know that much.
Okay. Let's see if you're
all right. So Benny, give me a moment here for the folks who may have tuned in since I last read the question. How much moisture did that last weekend snow, 8.2 inches of snow, how much moisture actually got into the soil? Was it 0.41 to 0.54 inches, 0.54 to 0.82 inches, or more than 1.64 inches?
Hey.
Benny?
Ding, ding, ding,
You
ding,
are
ding.
correct.
Now.
Hey, I'm back up to 600.
Now, since you lucked out, blind hog found an acorn. So since you lucked out, explain to me how you arrived at that, okay? Because I know how I arrived at that through the math and everything. Walk me through how you came up with that.
Local weather report.
Well, that's what I would have
Remember,
said.
I'm not a math whiz.
Okay, so let's.
I can keep my checkbook balanced, but
let's talk about this logically. Okay, the ranges in terms of percentages of moisture with snowfall. All right, from the low to the high. You have to consider factors like, was that a very wet, heavy snowfall initially? And obviously the answer for us was this was like dust. It was like, this was very, very dry, blowing, that kind of thing. So the content that was in it as it fell from the sky was already very low, right, Benny? All right.
That's it.
Then we have very, very low temperatures all week. So this was not a very quick melt. So now you lose even more moisture that is in that very dry snow to evaporation. All right? So at the end of all of this, you end up at the lowest range of moisture content in the snow that actually makes its way into our soil. So we're thankful for every drop of moisture.
We need every one we can get.
But you're exactly right. 0.41 to 0.54 inches. I didn't know the weather gave you that information, or I wouldn't have put this out there. I thought you.
You had to be paying attention.
I thought
to
you
the
had
local,
to be smarter than that.
I was smart enough to listen to the local news review.
You were smart enough to listen to our program. So
Absolutely, I was in motion when you first came on. I just left the house to come to the men's fellowship breakfast, so couldn't weigh in earlier. I just got to the parking lot.
That's quite all right, Benny. Tell Randy which book you'd like to have, or if you'd rather have the tickets to Carpenter Square Theater. We're going to move on because we still have a lot to cover.
Absolutely.
All right, Benny.
Enjoy your weekend and stay warm,
guys.
Benny.
Be careful out there.
All right, man.
You too.
Take care.
All right, and sooner or later we got to get Scotty's view from the top of the ladder. But while Randy's on the phone, let's catch up with.
Well, that's okay. I've got a really interesting thing that I was involved in last week, thanks to my leadership admin experience.
Oh, good.
Part of that, and one of the reasons that I wanted to do it was when I read about the fact that you'd have the opportunity to serve on some nonprofit boards.
Okay.
And I attended virtually my first board meeting for the General Tommy Franks Museum in Hobart.
Oh, good.
And that was so cool. And those people, I really enjoyed it. I thought there's no way I'm going to stay on this Zoom call for 2.5 hours. And I guarantee you I stayed on that Zoom call for 2.5 hours. Talking about the Leadership Institute and the things they do with the young people in the leadership realm, in the 4-star scholars and the programs that they have. And we're actually going to get a representative from the museum on to talk about their mission and what they're all about and how we connect this to the young people and the things that are going on in the world today. And I think that we might want to talk about, Rick, having a 4-star scholar spotlight as part of something that we do on a regular basis on this program.
We can do that.
I'd like to shine some light on the General Tommy Franks Museum and the great work they're doing with our young people and obviously with honoring our military.
Okay. That sounds like a great deal.
It does. It does.
All right, so we'll be taking a break. Actually, we're going to get you up on the roof right now. Actually,
Randy's multitasking.
Yeah, he's.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
I don't know if he's as good at that as I am, but
hang on, no, Scotty. Now,
well, he fell in a Sastrugi, so he's okay.
All right, so Scotty, what's it look like from the top of the ladder?
Well, it's really snowy up there right now, and especially so around the chimney that doesn't have a cricket on it.
Oh, no.
But fortunately, our masons, before the chimney completely crumbled in on itself, this customer called us to take care of their problems, and our mason completely rebuilt their chimney. So it looks beautiful, at least the brick stack. However, there's no flashing up there, and with all this snow, I'm kind of worried. But guess what? I went out last week before the snow, right before the snow, Thursday night. I'd finished by the light of my headlamp, and essentially band-aided, flashed, really, truly, I flashed this chimney with a membrane that we use on metal roofing. It's called shark skin.
Okay.
And it's a self-adhering, premium grade, thick underlayment, butyl-based underlayment, with a woven synthetic underlayment laminated onto the top of that to shed the weather. And because I haven't gotten a call from the customer, and I checked in with, and I checked in with him by text earlier in the week, midweek. He said everything looks great. So a good Band-Aid,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. No
Well,
news.
good Band-Aid.
Well, and we're not much for Band-Aids. What Scotty's telling you is that we haven't completed our scope of work.
Correct.
Okay. What he's telling you is that the mason completed his work.
But that didn't leave us enough time before the snow because they finished a
Right.
day and a half before, and we just couldn't get out there that next
Right.
day.
Yeah.
Right.
So after
now
I
we
finished,
now we have to go remove roofing, build the cricket, do our flashing and our counter flashing with our ice and water details and all that, and then Scotty will never have to worry about it again. But Scotty, great job on a temporary.
temporary, yes.
There you go. All right, let's take our final break. We'll be back for the last segment of McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma on Freedom 96.9. Our trivia question has been answered. We've talked about our word of the week. We've had some trivia. We'll have a little bit more, and I think some really interesting trivia coming up after this break. And then we'll get the After the Storm tip. Stay with us. Homer Stacy was a wholesome, good American kid from Texas. At the age of 18, he enlisted in the United States Army Horse Cavalry and was stationed at Fort Bliss. Homer was fascinated with aircraft, so he went to flight school and became an Army Air Corps pilot. Homer Stacy flew a Convair B-24 Liberator, the Yankee Doodle Dandy, on November 11, 1943, when his crew, along with 31 other bombers, destroyed a ball-bearing plant in occupied France. On a return trip, a mechanical failure caused the Yankee Doodle Dandy to drop out of formation, leaving it vulnerable, and shortly thereafter, 7 German Me-109s shot down the plane near Andano, Italy. 4 crew members were killed on board, the others parachuted. 1 was captured and taken prisoner. Homer was among the remaining 5 who made it to Switzerland and returned to duty. Homer Stacy survived World War II, the Korean War, and retired after 23 years of service with many awards and commendations, including the Distinguished Flying Cross, the Purple Heart, and multiple air medals. Homer Stacy McCollum, Scott McCollum's dad. Scott McCollum is McRoof. McRoof.us is owned and operated by the McCollum family, an honorable, trustworthy red, white, and blue family. If you want to fortify your property, call McRoof.us at 405-877-4663. Ask for your complimentary roof inspection performed by a credentialed Hague residential inspector. McRoof.us, saving lives and protecting property by fortifying Oklahoma, one roof at a time. McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma back on the air for the final live segment of this morning's program. On this date of January 31st, 1949, the first daytime television soap opera premiered in Chicago. It was called These Are My Children. And then all you music lovers out there, on this date of 1955, RCA demonstrated the first music synthesizer.
Wow.
And then of particular note to me, Tony Sheridan and the Beat Brothers recorded What'd I Say and Ruby Baby on this date of 1963. Now you may be asking yourself, why should I care about that? Well, the Beat Brothers, recorded with Tony Sheridan, later became the Beatles.
Yep.
And speaking of the Beatles, even though it was the day before, on January 30th, 1969.
Oh, you can't talk about that.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. That was their last live performance.
Oh, wow.
On the roof of the Apple Corps building in downtown London.
Wow.
42-minute concert that was interrupted by the police, who busted them for public nuisance and made it into the movie.
Oh, wow.
All right, so final segment here. Now, Scott, what do you want to wrap up with?
Well, we'll talk a little bit about Fortified. the program is now a statewide program, so it's not limited by zip code. I don't know what the count of roofing contractors fortified approved through OID are now. I believe it's probably up. It's certainly in the 20s. It may be more than that now. So people have a significant number of contractors to choose from. Now, you do still have to have a fortified contractor who is approved through OID for the grant program. There are other people who are fortified contractors, but you cannot use one of them in the grant program. This has to be someone that has gone through that extra level of scrutiny by OID and been through all of their onboarding sessions and everything else to be able to be one of the contractors that builds an OID grant roof, a Strengthen Oklahoma's grant.
And the grant is up to $10,000.
Up to $10,000
for using the fortified processes and materials when you re-roof your house.
That's correct. So it's up to $10,000 for the cost of those things, okay? And so when this is done in the context of an insurance claim, all right, say you have an insurance claim and it pays X, and say that the bid for the roof from the contractor that was turned in and that you accepted was X plus $10,000, then that contractor is going to receive exactly the $10,000 from OID. Say the insurance pays X and the bid from the contractor that you accepted was less than $10,000 more than that. In other words, it did not cost $10,000 to bring that roof up to fortified standard.
Right.
Then the contractor's not going to receive $10,000.
Right.
He can receive whatever that delta is.
Right.
That's the way that it works.
And the homeowner is never going to see any of this money themselves.
Correct. That is correct. The money is paid directly to the contractor. I think that has to do there's some tax implications into how that money is paid, if it was paid directly to the homeowner, that kind of thing.
Sure.
I think that's probably what it is. But no, that money does not go to the consumer. It goes to the contractor. The way we write our contracts is that our contracts are for X amount of dollars, which would be the money that is on that bid, but it has a notation on it that up to $10,000 is going to come directly to the contractor from the Strengthen Oklahoma Homes Grant Program.
And the purpose of this whole thing is to get Oklahoma homes fortified, Oklahoma roofs fortified at really no extra expense to the homeowner.
Or as little,
minimal.
Yeah,
minimal.
as little,
cases.
as little extra expense as possible. Yeah, this is an incentive to build better, to do systems plus, code plus, fortified, high wind and hail designated roofing in Oklahoma. It has got to be done exactly to the standard. The home has to ultimately be designated by IBHS after their audit process, or that contractor's not going to get paid that additional money. Now, I think the contractor would have a pretty hard time going back to a consumer and saying, well, OID didn't pay me because I did something wrong and IBHS didn't designate your home. You owe me that. I don't think that's going to happen either, okay?
Yeah.
So I think that the contractors understand that they are absolutely on the hook to make sure that that home ultimately gets designated.
Hey, let's go.
One more thing about fortified, and I do want to talk about this.
Okay.
We are under the gun at McRoof on our fortified roofs. The fortified roofs have a time frame during which they must be completed and designated.
Okay.
Okay. So we are up against it with some of our roofs right now, and are going in and shuffling the deck to where we're looking at what that drop dead date is, and that's the way the roofs are being scheduled. So this does not just have to do with what's happened with McRoof. This could also have to do with what's happened with the insurance claim process. So if someone came in a long time ago and it took months and months and months to get everything ultimately resolved with their claim, get everything taken care of, all right, and now all of a sudden we're up against that 6-month deadline, all right, that becomes a problem. And then now you throw the weather in on top of that and weeks where we cannot build roofs. So I'm sure there will be some reasonable workout on this. I'm not telling anyone that you're going to lose out on this or anything else, but I'm just saying that we feel the heat of that, the pressure of that, the responsibility of that within McRoof, and that's kind of where. So we'll be probably doing nothing but fortified roofs when the weather allows for the next few weeks to try to get out in front of it again.
Sure. Is there a cap on the dollar on the grants program?
Well, now originally that was $10,000 grants in what was allocated by the legislature. So that's what, $10 million,
something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't heard a number, or I don't know if that's something. I don't know what the number is for 2026. I can't answer that question, Rick, and that's probably something I should know the answer to.
Yeah, we need to know that. All right, the storm has passed for the moment. What say you, Scott, about after the storm?
Well, Scotty will tell you this.
All right, Scotty.
Well, I mean,
talk about the leaks that have never been addressed, Scotty.
Leaks that have never been addressed. Well, I was going to talk about. I will,
Okay.
but give me a minute.
Yeah.
I want to first clarify that there's
you
a
only
lot.
have about 3.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I want to first clarify that there's a lot of. Thankfully, not this week. We haven't received a lot of calls, but I'm saying in general, after a snow or ice event in a region that does not have a whole lot of ice and snow fall, typically on a given year, there are a lot of calls for leaks. You can only see my quotations on the live stream, but leaks. But they're actually not leaks because they're ice dams and snow dams. A leak means
Scotty,
that the
Scotty.
roof is not shedding water properly, and that's not what an ice dam is. An ice dam or a snow dam, where the ice and snow formation blocks the flow of water downward off of the roof surface or off of whatever detail you're talking about on the roof, that is essentially like a reverse leak because that water is forced uphill or laterally into a point where it is not expected to go, so that is not actually a leak.
So if you have that water not getting off the roof, it's being forced places you don't want it to go. You may be talking about wall intersections, valleys, chimneys, whatever. We've got ice and water. We've got our protection around those areas, okay? But that protection only extends so far.
Right.
And when you push that water someplace that we don't have our redundancy that we talk about, we don't have the ice and water, we don't have the synthetic underlayment, we don't have flashing, counter flashing, all those things to protect it, you push it beyond that, then you have issues. All right, we have to. Our redundant systems rely on getting water to flow off of a roof at a fairly good clip. And when you build any kind of barrier, when you have gutters that are completely filled with ice and snow, and the ice and snow are backing up on the roof, that is a dam. It really is a literal dam. Mm-hmm. When you have these materials and things building up on a roof, that's a problem. But, Scotty, I got to tell you, all the building community and all of the city of Oklahoma City Council will tell you that there's no ice dams in Oklahoma. That just does not happen. They don't exist. Because I'm going to tell you that when the city of Oklahoma City was having their discussions about ice and water protection and making the decision that they were going to eliminate ice and water protection from the building code for Oklahoma City, in other words, it was not going to be anything that they were enforcing or insisted on, they bought into the fact that there are no ice dams in Oklahoma.
Well,
Do you believe in
I've
that?
seen. No, I don't. I've seen plenty of them.
I have
They'd be
to.
wrong.
I
Hey, guys,
have
I got to
to,
jump in
Scotty.
and say that S&CM LLC doing business as McRoof.us legally operates under Oklahoma registration number 80000002, and that the registration applies to both residential and commercial roofing. Whew. Okay, Scott.
Ooh, wow.
Dad's wisdom.
Well, we're going to do it this way because we've talked a lot about this over the last couple weeks. The work is its own reward.
There
the
you go.
work is its own reward.
This has been episode number 44 of McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma on Freedom 96.9. I'm Rick Allen Lippert. Thank you, Scott McCullum. Thank you, Scotty McCullum. Thank you, Retro Radio Randy.
Stay warm and stay safe, everybody. Have a good week.
KQOB Enid, Oklahoma City, 2026. A celebration of freedom and the open road. Oklahoma's talk radio. The new Freedom 96.9.